Hello, welcome to the Saturday Morning Quick Live. And this is Praveen Gautam. I help entrepreneurs and enterprises just like yours to build their digital brand and monetize it. Now, this videos is all proudly dedicated for the Becker Watt. So I have got a special guest here, Len Watt. Welcome to the show, Len. Great to have you.
Good morning, Praveen. How are you? It's good to see you.
Absolutely. We're just talking about a couple of things in building construction, and thank you so much for such a short notice and
So,
come online.
anytime,
It's
anytime.
always nice to add value to the community. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, of course, yes.
absolutely. Now, 2021. This is it's a great so many things happening, and someone like you who have spent 25 years in building industry, obviously with the carpenter, starting from the carpenter, and now you have such a great. Such a great testimonial with working on some of the bigger high-rise residentials for a project manager, and then starting your own business, Baker Watt. So tell me a little bit about those viewers who have no idea, about the brand.
So I suppose I started my life as a 16-year-old apprentice carpenter in regional Queensland, and I managed to finish that apprenticeship. But sometimes I wonder how. Probably not the world's best carpenter, but it did give me an appreciation and an understanding of the building industry. So from there, I went into construction management, and I ended up working in Sydney back then on some high-rise projects as a contracts manager, and then eventually I worked as a project manager. I've worked on projects. I was thinking about this morning. I've worked on projects as a project manager in New South Wales, in Queensland, and in the Northern Territory. And so, sort of for a long period of time, I went from project to project as a project manager, and then an opportunity came along for me to go back to uni and study law, which I did. Coming out of my degree, there was probably only one real place for me to go, and that was building and construction, which is law, which is what I did. And eventually, out of that, Becker Watt's been born, and here we are.
Wow. You must be very proud what you have achieved so far, eh?
I'm not so sure. I look back and go, it's just a life's journey, like just sort of different twists and turns that have ended up with me being where I am now.
Humble, what a humble beginning. Now, great. Thank you for sharing your unique stories. It's all about that, you being a different, and obviously adding that unique perspectives, and that's where, the Becker what you stands is very unique to what others are doing, for sure. Now, yes. So as a subject matter experts, those viewers who are watching this, and there's so many viewers out there, obviously building and construction, there is a number of companies, subcontractors. So tell me about the top 3 mistakes which you are finding day in, day out in building and construction industry right now.
I think that's a very interesting and very broad question, I think. But I suppose number one is a failure to understand the contractual environment. Builders are very, very good at most builders very, very good at what they do, and that is getting a set of plans and turning what's on a plan into a 3D bricks and mortar construction. But along with that, though, comes the contractual relationship, and a lot of the trouble that we see is, I suppose, from a failure to really appreciate the nuances of that relationship. So sometimes it can be, not giving notices under the contract, and not properly sort of communicating with the client in a contractual fashion, that can have an effect. Sometimes it's not understanding time bars that may be included in the contract, and one that comes up quite a lot is a dispute that arises at the end of the project around money and liquidated damages, etc. That is something that we see all the time, and of course we see the combination of failure to give notices, disputes about work, liquidated damages. That is probably where a lot of the issues come from. that we see. Another issue or another area where we do see issues is particularly in Queensland is in relation to a builder's interaction with the QBCC.
Right.
So for example, if there's a defect or something not quite right on a house, and the owner then complains to the QBCC, the builder needs to appropriately deal with that, and there are very strict time bars on that. So that's another area that we see a lot of, and I suppose for a third one, if I had to throw it in, I'd also throw in that minimum financial requirements to be able to have the license. So with a builder's license in Queensland, you are, and in other states, but in Queensland predominantly with the QBCC, you're allowed to build to a certain value of work, and that's based on a test that of your minimum of your financial security and assets, and that's becoming an issue, particularly coming out of COVID.
Interesting. Very obviously, as you says, failure to contractual relationship, obviously disputes and the notices. It's all about the first thing, and that's where you need to have the very clear from the day one, isn't it? And that's where the trusted legal lawyer or legal companies like yours, they come in to help those or to
Oh,
protect.
sorry, I've lost the audio.
Yeah, can you hear me? I think Len is just lost, hanging there, guys. By the way, if you are checking this from any of our social medias, including Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of the channels, please, please feel free to give a thumbs up, comments, or share this. And by the way, if there's any questions, burning questions in building and constructions, and you're looking for the solutions, or there is any burning questions, feel free to just type in, and Len and his team will certainly get back. So let's again try the best to see if we can connect to Len. Hanging there. Yeah, is that better? Can you hear me, Len? Are you there?
Sorry, Prabhu, I can't hear. I've lost the audio. I can't hear you.
All right, so we can't. One sec. All right, let's try again. So on that note, also Len, who is a principal lawyer, he is also chairing the construction law in masterclass on 17th of August. And that's where I was thinking, probably he can set some idea what, if people are attending that masterclass that's organized by a Crown Leadership International. He will be chairing that meeting on, that's a quite full-on masterclass, 8 hours on 17th of August in Brisbane. So, if you're there, feel free to jump in. I hope we can hear now. Is there anything better? No. All right. Again, technical fault, guys. That's okay. So this is just a quick live. If there's anything in relate to the legal matters, feel free to contact Beckerwatt. All the details are just here. Questions, you can send them an email at info@beckerwatt.com.au, or else you can even call at 1300-AT-LEGAL. And let's try again. So can you hear? Is it all right? Still the audios, I think there is a bit of audio lag, but that's okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you once again, Len. I will connect with you. Bye for now.